Okay, let's see. I think I was just in the wrong space. I think I was on my personal page instead of here. So let's see what we've got going on. There we go. Maybe. Will you shut my door for me, honey? Thanks, babe. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free to come back with ice cream. Okay, so I just saw this comment. Tammy, are you able to hear me and see like everything moving around? Okay, so it says I've got a live going on here. What's weird is I'm moving and it looks like this screen is frozen. Okay, it's just a little bit behind, but it is. Let's see if I can turn it around, if that makes a difference. Oh, it sure did. It made everything upside down. So let's turn it the other way. Okay, well, I suppose that's better than nothing. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. I'll show you what I've got going on. But this is the celebration brochure I was talking about. And there are like 8 or 12 different items that you can get for free in here that are amazing. There is this bedazzling paper, which I have just fallen in love with. There's the Penguin Playmates is what this paper is called. Let me show you up here. You can see this great paper, and it coordinates with our stamp set in our new mini catalog that has all the little penguins in it. That we've got this stamp set, this feels like home right here. And then we've also got this amazing paper, beautifully penned, and it goes with our hand-penned stamp set that we have. It's got stamps and dies in our regular annual catalog. And it comes in kind of shades of gray and dark gray. It's like black and white, but it's just not quite as dark, so I hesitate to say black and white. We've got this Christmas paper. See if you can see this here, with these beautiful Christmas patterns. But some of the patterns aren't totally Christmassy, so you could use them. There's some plaids and things. You could use them for other things besides just Christmas. We've also got these adorable sheep, except I don't like that one's face. I think that one looks weird. But the other ones, it's a great little set. And you can also, for $50, a $50 purchase, get the dies for free as well. So that's kind of exciting that you could get both the stamps and the dies with a $100 purchase. We have this Textures and Frames stamp set. And I've seen some really cute stuff done with this as both backgrounds and main images. Then we do have a couple things that if you place $100 orders you could choose from. And one is this Summer Shadows dies. It goes with our, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but we have a stamp set that matches this in our annual catalog. Hi, Chris-Ann. You missed the excitement. I was having technical difficulties, but we'll get there. As you can see, I'm on portrait right now with my camera because that's the way I got it so that you wouldn't be sideways. Well, I wouldn't be sideways. We've also got this Delicate Dahlias set. Everybody is loving this. It's just beautiful. And you can pick it with a $100 purchase. If you host a party or place a $300 order, host a party with $300 in sales, or make a $300 purchase, you can also get this amazing In Your Words stamp set with all these great sentiments. You can get that for free. And then finally, we've got a really cool promotion right now where there are 12 different bundles you can choose from. If you decide to join my team, it's a great deal. It's always a great deal anyway. It's the best deal we have. You pay $99 and you can fully customize your kit to be anything out of the catalogs that you want that can be purchased. So items that you would earn for free, you can't necessarily pick those, like celebration items, but you can fill your $125 with anything else you want it to be. Plus you get a paper pumpkin kit, plus you get free shipping, plus you get at least 20% off all your future orders, plus you get one of these free bundles of your choice, and that is valued at up to $60. So it's a really pretty amazing deal, a little over $200 worth of stuff for $99. And you know, it's one of those things that if you're on the fence and you're just kind of thinking about it, I encourage you, give it a whirl. Try it out, see what you think. Because you know what, if you try it and decide it's not for you, you know what, no hard feelings, and you just go back to being a customer. Not a big deal at all. If you want more information about that, you can call, you can send me a personal message here on Facebook, or you can email me at stamphappenings@gmail.com. So that's kind of the scoop with Celebration. Now let's get into this amazing paper pumpkin kit we got this month. So for starters, I'm going to show you it. Our paper pumpkin comes in a box like this. And hang on, I'm going to fix my camera just a little bit. It's just not quite far enough over for my liking. Bear with me, folks. Okay, we'll try that. Okay, so this month's one came in this really beautiful box with the idea that you could decorate it. And of course it came with all of the things that you need to decorate it. And, oh, thank you, Chris-Ann, that's really sweet. But anyway, so you decorate up this box. Well, let me show you what's inside of it. First of all, it comes with a sheet of instructions to show you how to make the 3 cards that were designed by Stampin' Up. And they're really great instructions. They're in color and they're very simple to follow. So whether you're a new stamper who just isn't totally confident in your own skills yet, which you will be quickly, or an advanced stamper that wants to do different things, this still is really nice and easy to follow along. This kit also came with some beautiful envelopes. I really, really love these. You can see they're kind of a watercolor look to them in different colors, and we're actually going to cut one of them up tonight to make one of the cards. Then you get a whole bunch of die cuts, these ones that say tomorrow and hope, and you know there's also some in other languages. If you're like me, you don't speak another language or know somebody who speaks those languages, you know what you can do? You punch them out and you flip them over. Now you have a white side and you do whatever you want with it. And you're going to see me do that a little bit tonight too. Got this sheet of die cuts with some circles and some little tags or bars. This sheet of die cuts, this is beautiful. These are large die cuts, and they were intended to decorate the box. There's a belly band in here somewhere. Belly band and these big dies so that you could decorate the box, and I'll show you that after I show you what's in the kit. I'll show you what the decorated box ended up looking like, and I am off center, it looks like. This whole being portrait is kind of throwing me off. It also came with an entire roll of this beautiful ribbon, but you got a full roll of it, which I don't have a full roll anymore. You got some of these little die cuts of the little butterflies, some more banners. You can see I've already used, well, I have one that I punched out that we're going to use tonight. But again, other languages, flip them over and use the back. Got some tags and some little flowery swirly things. These little tags that say hope. Of course, other languages again. Flip it over, use the back. We're going to do that tonight too. Also got a little baggie with some embellishments. Actually, let me show you the rest of these die cuts here first. Got this nice big one. You got a few sheets of this one. We're going to cut it up and use it tonight also. And then these banners. These banners are beautiful. There's 4 to a sheet. You get 3 sheets. And I just think they're so vibrant and pretty. And I can't wait to try some more stuff with them. As you know, I tried to do this last week and did the whole video, then realized that I hadn't been recording at all. So I had to order a refill kit because I didn't have enough supplies left to make any more cards. So now I have a whole refill kit to come up with some more ideas. This comes with some beautiful little sequins. I love these. I don't know how much you can see the shimmer in the video, but they're kind of pinks and purples, and they're just gorgeous. I absolutely love them. I'm going to throw them over here because we're going to use them tonight. Some little tiny glue dots and some dimensionals to be able to pop things off the card or off the page. And as you can see, Stampin' Up! Provides you with everything you need. My original kit came with a little Stampin' spot, so I had the ink that I needed, but I put it away because I had the ink pads in the full size, so I'm just using those. But your kit would come with those. We got these little sheets of cardstock. You got some white ones. I love this. I think this is beautiful. This little watercolory with the green to pink. And then this green that looks like it has kind of little splatters on it. I don't know if you can see that. These are all beautiful, and of course we're going to use those. Then you get your card bases, and it comes, there's 3 different ones. There's this one with the pink speckles on it. Got this one, and with the card that Stampin' Up! Designed, what they actually intended for this one, I'm trying to get a hold of the die cut, is you put the die cut over it and it just kind of fills in the gaps, see, like in the inside of that flower and things like that. But we're going to do something a little different with those tonight. We're going to use both the card base and the die cut, but we're going to use them separately. And then there are these card bases in this beautiful coastal Caribbean color. So that's what you get in your kit. Well, we are going to set forth and make some other things. Let me grab, I want to grab the cards that I made that are the cards that Stampin' Up! Designed, because I want you to see what you get in your kit. Let's see here. You can see I have this huge stack of cards that I've already made. These are all cards that I have made with my paper pumpkin kit. But these are the 3 that Stampin' Up! Designed, and I followed the instructions and made them the way that they suggested. This is just beautiful. I love how they covered up the words of the stamps. I'm sorry, the words with the little die cuts. This one with the banners, and this one with that big die cut that I was talking about. So these are all the ones designed by Stampin' Up! And I guess with that in mind, you probably want to see the stamps as well. Okay, so this, if I set it on the white, you can see it a little better. These are the stamps that come in your paper pumpkin kit. All your paper pumpkin kits will come with a set of stamps. And like I mentioned earlier, the ink pad and all that good stuff. Yes, I have been busy, Chrisanne. You should have seen me last weekend. I was going crazy with it. I was having a ton of fun. But this comes with some sayings that we're going to use, some butterflies, of course the little speckles. I love the speckles. And I just store mine in these little boxes. You can order these for $10. I use these boxes for a ton of different things, but keeping my stamp sets that I get in my paper pumpkin kit is one thing I use these boxes for. Okay, so let's get started on these cards. Oh, I wanted to show you the box. So this is the box fully decorated. You can decorate yours however you want, but this is the way that Stampin' Up, the instructions did it. I wanted to do it just the way they did so you could see where it uses these die cuts, this beautiful butterfly, this big banner, and this gorgeous ribbon. It is so soft. It's an amazing ribbon, and you get a ton of it. I've used it on several different projects. You can see I'm almost out, which makes me sad. But there's quite a bit on the roll that you can use for other things. So I wanted to show you that. Okay, so let's get going, you guys. See, there I am again saying you guys. I'm going to get out of that habit. I'm going to make myself do it. So we're going to make 4 cards tonight because I promised you guys, turn this into a drinking game. Have a drink every time I say it. We're going to make these one. Let's just start with the first one. So the first card we're going to make is this one, this guy right here. And what I did with this one is I turned our die cuts around and used them. So let me show you how that's going to happen. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is take a piece of cardstock. This is 5.5 by 8.5. It's just a half a sheet of our regular cardstock. I have scored it, but another thing that's nice to do when you score it is take your bone folder and just sharpen that edge. That's what your bone folder will do. It just gives you a nice crisp fold. Then we're going to take, I guess I could have waited to do that part, but that's okay. This is one of the envelopes, and you know what we're going to do? I know this is going to be painful for some of you. We're going to cut it up. Oh, I forgot my cutter. Let me grab it. Fortunately, my stamping room is really tiny, so I didn't have to go far to get it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down so that it fits on this little piece of mint macaron cardstock, and it's going to just provide a nice little border around our paper, kind of like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to shave off just a tiny little bit of the edge just to get rid of that fold so I can take this apart. I'm going to do this on all 3 of these sides. Guess it helps if you cut it instead of scoring it. Okay. Okay. Now you could cut out this little part to do something else if you wanted. So I set mine aside just to save it to see if anything else comes up. But what I'm going to do for now is just cut this one this way. I'm not going to do a ton of cutting. You're not going to have to watch me do a ton of cutting, but things like this, there's a couple things that I'm cutting that I just wanted to do to see how I'm doing it, so that if it's something that interests you, you can see what I'm doing. Okay. There we go. And now we just have the nice sheet of paper there. Move the cutter out of the way. By the way, if you are in need of a cutter, if you're looking for a new one, the Stampin' Up! One is so amazing. I've had mine for a few months and I have not had to replace a blade yet. It comes with a regular cutting blade and a scoring blade, and it measures one direction 12 inches and the other direction 17 inches. So if you're cutting up 12 by 12 paper, it'll fit. It's just an amazing cutter. It locks in place so that when you're carrying it around, it doesn't flip open and have parts break off because they caught on something. It's really nice, and at $25 you can't get a much better deal than that. Okay, so sometimes when you cut your paper, it gives you a weird little edge. I like to just take my bone folder and flatten those out because they bug me. If they don't bug you, you don't have to do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I probably should wait until after I stamp this, but I'm feeling brave tonight, you guys. Oh, there we go, you guys. I'm feeling brave, so I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted on. We have several different types of adhesive. This is our Seal Plus. It's probably my favorite. It's nice and quick and easy, but we're going to use some of those other adhesives that we have tonight so you can kind of see how they all work. Now this is only going to give me about a 1/16 of an inch, well actually about a 1/16 of an inch border. So you want to lay it out sort of slowly just so that you can eyeball where you're putting it, especially if you're using the Seal or Seal Plus. It's not as forgiving once you lay down your paper, so it's a little harder to lift it off if you need to. You can, but you've got to be a little careful with it. So now we're going to take, this is my Stampin' Pierce mat, and I like to use it to stamp on. I just have it covered with a sheet of printer paper so that I don't get ink all over it. But when you're using our photopolymer stamps like these ones, they don't have as much cushion as our red rubber stamps do. So what you're going to want to do is, if you use a mat like this, it just gives you a little bit extra cushion. I can see my stamp is crooked, so I'm going to put it on there again on my block. The nice thing is you can see from the back of the block where your stamp is at. So if it's on there a little crooked, you know that you can just turn it around, or you know if it's upside down, or you know, whatever you're doing. And actually this is the one I want for this card. I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss ink, just make sure, okay, yeah, it's, sometimes when it's the first time I've stamped with it for the day, I'll try it out on my scratch paper just to make sure that I've got it, got the feel for where it's going to stamp and what I need it to do. Yay, I got it. There's nothing worse than stamping when you've already glued something down and then stamping it wrong. I'm using this. This is my chamois. I'm using it to clean off my stamps. This is a great cleaner. I've been stamping for about 20 years or so. And we also carry a product called the Stampin Scrub, which is also a really great cleaner. But I was very reluctant to give in and try the chamois because I'm a creature of habit. But boy, I sure like this. It gets my stamps so nice and clean. It doesn't get ink all over your hands, but putting your hand in the ink does. So I do recommend, get yourself some baby wipes, and then it washes right off. You want to wash it off right away so that you don't get the ink on your cards. So. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and set this aside for the moment and close your ink pad. That's something that I try to remember to do right away all the time, because I have this amazing talent for laying down in my ink pads. It's really quite a beautiful thing. So we're going to take a little bit of this ribbon. Well, we're going to take the rest of what I have actually, and we're going to just wrap it around, and we're going to, and just, you can just tape it on the back. Nobody's going to see this part of your card, so you might as well make it easy for yourself and just take, I just like to take some Scotch tape and pull it nice and tight, pull your ribbon nice and tight, and glue it on, and stick it on there. See, now it's going to stay where I want it. Set that aside, and now we're going to take, let's see, this banner. This is what I was talking about, where you take one that's written in another language that you don't speak, or have someone to send a card to that speaks this language, flip it over and do something else. What we're going to do with it is I'm going to color it and make it mint macaron. I'm going to use the direct to paper technique, and all you do is you get your ink pad and then drag it across your paper. I want a little more on there, so I'm going to do it again. Do this side, and the thing is, it's going to have a line in the center where you're going to see where the two sides met, but that's okay because we're going to cover that up anyway, so it won't show. Okay, that's really dark right now, but it lightens up quite a bit as the ink soaks into the paper, so don't worry about that. What we want to do is I want to trim this down so that it fits my card. The easiest way to do that is take your scissors. We have great little paper snips that are $10. Mine are being ordered as we speak. And cut your banner in half. Then what you can do is lay it on here. This is just to get kind of a dry fit to figure out how far over you need to attach it. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on one end. And lay it down on the other piece. There we go. Another thing I like to do is I like to take my bone folder. This is kind of wiggling around a little, so I don't like how that was wiggling, so I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this one too, I think. Oh, this one's out of ink, or out of adhesive. Hang on, let me grab a new one. That's easy enough to fix. You guys, I have a space heater on. Is that crazy? It's 1st of September, and everybody else is talking about how hot they are, and I have a space heater on. I don't know why this is not. It's not sticking, and I'm not quite sure why. That's a really good idea, Chris Ann, using glue dots to stick it down, and that may be what I should have used. It certainly is a great alternative, and we got some in our kit. Okay, so the thing that I like to do, that I was about to show you, is now I take my bone folder, and I just go like this, kind of like I'm curling ribbon, you know, like you do with birthday presents and Christmas presents, and I'm just causing these edges to flip up a little bit. I like when it's on my card, it just gives it a little bit of extra something. I'm going to take that. Now I'm also going to take, let's see here, my little pieces. I'm trying to figure out where I put that. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have one of these little banners or tags, whatever you want to call it, again in another language, so I'm going to flip it over. And what I'm going to do is glue it down to my banner that I just made, my little green banner. And just kind of fit it there in about the center. Then I'm going to do a technique where you take one of your Stampin' Blend markers, and I'm just going to flick a little bit. I put the pen in the cap, and I just flick a little bit on here. It just gives a little interest. And if you watch too many crime shows like I do, it'll remind you of blood splatter, but which is probably why I shouldn't do it in red. Okay, so now I've got my two little butterflies, and I am going to use glue dots for this because they're small, and I don't want a bunch of extra adhesive everywhere. So I have the glue dots that Stampin' Up! Provided, these little ones. And I'm going to use them just because the back of the butterfly is awfully small. It'll make it easier. With this, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. This is something every stamper should have in their arsenal. It's got a putty end for picking up little pieces, which I'll show you later. It's got a little pokey tool. Yes, that's the technical term. When you open it up, you can turn it around. It's got a putty end. There is an attachment that you can get a brush to help you get all the little pieces out of your die cuts. It's just a great tool. It's only 10 bucks, and I use it on just about every card that I make. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pokey end to lift up the glue dot off of that little paper. Now our glue dots that we sell are a little different. They come on a roll like this, and they're a little bit bigger, and you just lay your item down. I'll show you. you just lay that butterfly right on there, and then you can peel it right off. And that's how you use those. So they don't come on a sheet like they do with the Paper Pumpkin kit, just so that you know. Okay, let's get off of there, little guy. Kind of hitchhiker. Okay, now I'm just going to stick these on here. And I'm going to put a few dimensionals on the back of, I thought I had some dimensionals open, on the back of this because I want to pop it up off the card a little bit, which reminds me, something I forgot to do. It's going to stick down on the ribbon, and it's kind of heavy for the ribbon, which means it could pull a little bit. So I'm going to take a couple glue dots and put it underneath my ribbon just to give it a little bit more security so that it stays in place where I want it to. Normally you don't have to do this, but because of the weight of what I'm putting on there, you know, it's a couple layers, it's got the dimensionals, just a couple things pulling on it like that. This will help secure it so that it's not going all over the place. Now I'm going to take my dimensionals and put them on the back. This guy, take my pokey tool, and this is great for lifting the backs off of your dimensionals. And I'm just going to center it on there. And then we're almost done. It just needs one more thing, and that is some of these beautiful little shiny rhinestone or sequins that I love so much. So again, I'm going to use my pokey tool, and all you have to do is kind of push the sequins off, and they come right off. Whoop. Get back here. These are self-adhesive, by the way, so you don't have to worry about gluing them down. I think I have it upside down though. I don't really like it right there, so I'll just lift it with my pokey tool and move it. Let's put one more on there just for good measure. Let's put it right over here. Now, something I usually do in the beginning, but I kind of forgot to do, is creating something for the inside of the card. There's another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator named Kelly Atchison who I really enjoy watching, and you know what she says frequently is the party shouldn't end just because you've opened the card. And I love that. So we're going to create something for the inside of this card, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mint Macaron ink, and I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss ink. Going to take that little splattery guy, and I'm just kind of filling in this corner. Just gives it a little interest. There. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I should take the little butterfly that we have, and I'm going to use a technique called stamping off. Stamping off is where you stamp an image and then you stamp it again before you re-ink it so that you get two different shades of the ink, or even if you're just stamping the first one on your scratch paper so that it's lighter when you stamp it on your regular paper. That's what it's for. But in this case, I'm doing two butterflies, and I just wanted them to be two different colors. Now, close these up, and let's put this card together. And I just put my thumb in that ink pad. I swear. Get my little baby wipe. I swear I need baby wipes more now than I did when my kids were in diapers. Okay, so got our card base that we made. I'm just going to mount this on the inside of my card. See, isn't that nice? Just a little something. And you can stamp a message there if you want, or just handwrite. Now we're going to take the front of the card. I kind of tend to go crazy with the adhesive, but that's just me. Okay, Okay, you guys, what do you think? That's our first one that we've got there. Let me see, I want to look at the comments here. Chris Ann said, let's see. Oh, that she also uses the seal with every card. Yeah, I just really like it. It's nice, it's easy, it's fast. And then she takes her paper pumpkin adhesives and puts them in a travel bag that she stamp case of adhesives when she travels, I think. So that's a great idea. Good job. A good idea. So, okay, so there's our first card, you guys. I typically like to either decorate my envelopes, which we're not going to do tonight because this kit comes with envelopes. They're already so beautifully decorated. But the other thing I like to do is we sell envelopes that are actually clear. They're cellophane and they're clear, and I mail all my cards in that. I would say 99% of my cards get mailed in that because I figure I put enough time into making that card. I want the whole world to see it. How's that for making it about me? Okay, so the next card we're going to make is this one, and we're going to actually use one of the card bases that was provided with this card, or with this kit. So we're just going to fold this one. Oh, it doesn't look like the fold was really, the score line wasn't very good on that, so I'm just kind of holding it and fixing it so now it's where I want it. I'm going to take, this is our melon mambo. We have a lot of M's and I tend to get confused. So, okay, I just want to stamp a little butterfly, or the big butterfly, right there on the inside of my card. There we go. Okay, so there's the inside. Let's set this aside for now. Close up the ink pad so that I don't lay down in it. For this one, we have a little piece of mint macaron cardstock. And it's 3 by 4, I think, and 3 inches by 4 inches. And then this is one of the pieces that was provided by Stampin' Up! In my kit. And I just trimmed it down to 3 7/8 by 2 7/8 so that it would fit on this mint macaron as a little background. So before I glue it down this time, I'm going to actually stamp it. And this time I'm going to use this nice big stamp. It says, "Always hope because you never know what tomorrow will bring." And I like that. Okay, looks good. I'm going to put it a little closer up to the top here because we're going to do something a little bit lower on there. Okay, that's a little bit crooked, but, well, we'll survive, won't we? I want, this big stamp has a lot of ink on it, so I want to clean it off before I use it for something else. Just so you know, this chamois, they look really dirty and gross because they don't rinse completely clean, but it's amazing. Even they look like that, and you think they're not going to clean your stamps, and they do. They clean them right up. Okay, then we're going to take the mint macaron. Actually, I guess we can go ahead and mount this now. Okay, and then what we're going to do, I should have waited to open my ink pads. We're going to take some of our white baker's twine. I love this stuff. I can't get enough of it. And I'm going to tape it down on the back. The baker's twine is kind of thin, so I like to wrap it around 2 or 3 times just to give it a little bit of extra body, I guess. But you can wrap it as many times as you like it. Tape it down and then cut it off. And then I'm going to put a little bow on there, but I'm going to wait to do that. And I'll show you why here in just a moment. We're going to take this. This was one of the little die cuts that came in my kit. And I'm going to take that speckle stamp. I can't remember if I cleaned it off or not, so I'm going to clean it really quick. And I'm going to stamp it with the green. And I'm just going to kind of go through just random stamping. It didn't have to be any particular placement. Then I have a little bit of the blackberry. I don't want it too dark on here, so I'm stamping off. Stamp it on my scratch paper first, then I stamped it onto my little die cut. Cleaned off my stamp. Eek. Okay, now I have a couple of butterflies that came in the kit as well. Little butterfly die cuts. And I'm just going to take some of my little mini glue dots. I could use my seal adhesive on this, but they're so small that gets a little tricky sometimes. So I'm just going to stick them on the back of my butterfly like this. Lift off the paper. Come here, you little booger. And yes, as Chris-Ann mentioned, Stampin' Up! Sells all these different adhesives that I'm using. So it's not a bad idea to get them and try the different ones, see what you like, what you don't like. They're all different. You know what? It looks like on my sample card I actually used a dimensional on these, not the glue dots. So we sell two different kinds, or sizes, I'm sorry, of glue dots. We sell this regular size, and then we also have these little mini ones, and I think the little mini ones are so cute. I don't even know if you can see in them how tiny they are, but they're just adorable. And here I am going on and on about how cute they are, and nobody even sees them. Okay, so I'm going to put one on each side of the butterfly. If you're not familiar with dimensionals, I think I might have mentioned earlier, but just in case, what they do is they pop your item up off the page a little bit. So it just gives it a little dimension, thus the name. Now, get another one here. And you can see as I try to do this with my hands, they're so tiny that it's hard to do with your hands, and I don't even have very big hands, which is why I like to use my Take Your Pick tool, which is available on my website. And this is my website, by the way, you guys, heathersides.stampinup.net. And if you place an order, I always appreciate your orders, but if your order's under $150, if you could use that host code, that helps me out, because then I can give prizes to my customers when I do challenges and games and that kind of thing. That's how I get those. If your order's over $150, then don't use that host code, because Stampin' Up! Is going to have rewards for you, and I want to make sure you get them. So now we're going to flip it over. We're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this guy. I want to kind of make sure that my twine that's on the card is going to be able to pass through right here, so that it doesn't lift up my dimensionals, or lift up that area more than I want it to. So I'm going to just put that guy, now it's stuck to me. Okay, let's glue this on first. So what I chose to do is, you could put it just in the middle like this if you want. I decided to do it just a little bit off center. Just gives it a little bit of interest. Now I'm going to take this and put it right there. Oops, nope, not right there. It's covering up my stamp. I'm out of control, you guys. Then, now I'm going to tie a bow. If you are good at tying bows, you can tie it anywhere. You can do your own bow. Or I'm going to use, this is just a bow jig. It's a piece of wood with little holes cut into it. You can make your own. And then has some finishing nails in it. You'll see what I'm going to do. These are great. These, I do not sell these, but it would be easy to make your own. And I'm going to make a triple bow on this just because I like it. And remember I was saying how the baker's twine is, because it's so fine, it's sometimes nice to do something a little thicker, like double or triple it, because it just gives it a little bit more substance there. Okay. Now I've got my little bow here. And my glue dots. And now I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to put it on my baker's twine that's wrapped around, and it ends up looking like I just tied it in a bow because I just put it right there on top of it. And I can fuss with it for a while if I wanted to. I'm going to trim these. And that one's still a little bit long. Okay. And of course, it needs a little bit of bling still, so let's put some on there. I have taught my husband the phrase, we like sparkles. So when I show him cards that have stuff on it, stuff like this on there, he always says, because we like sparkles. Okay. And I like to use the rule of odd numbers when I put stuff like this on my cards. And what that is just, for some reason, odd numbers are more visually appealing to the eye. So I like to put 3 or 5 on there. In this case, I'm just doing 3. But that's our card for this one, you guys. It was pretty quick and easy. What do you think? I know, Chrisanne, if you contact me after this, I can give you the information of where I bought mine. I don't know if she still has them, but I can give you the information of where I got mine. It was like $10. Okay, so let me clean up here a little bit. We're going to make our next card. We're cruising along, you guys. And yes, I know, I just said it again. Okay. Where am I putting my used cards? Okay, not used cards, but the cards that we've already made. I'm trying to keep everything straight. Okay. Now, let's look at this one. Okay, this card, we're going to use that one big die cut that I showed you on this one. So I want to show you a trick about cutting it in half that I'm going to use. First, we're going to take our sheet of cardstock. It's a half a sheet, 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. I scored it in the middle at 4 1/4. Take my bone folder to just crisp up that edge. Thank you, Chrisanne. Oh, I love that your husband says that. Chrisanne says her husband says it's all about that bling. Oh, that's good. We get them trained pretty well, don't we? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, let's do the front of, or I'm sorry, not the front, the inside of the card first. I like to do the inside because then it's done and we close it and we don't forget about it. On this one, I'm going to do the same thing I did on that last one where I just did a melon mambo butterfly in the corner. Okay, clean up my stamp. Okay, and close my ink pad. And now we're going to glue this down. And it really doesn't require a whole lot. With this seal, it's such a strong adhesive. You really don't need as much as I put on, but I'm hurrying, and I'm not as careful or cautious when I'm hurrying. Okay. Look, you guys, we're going to actually use one that's in English this time. Get this, let this last little butterfly be free. Okay, so now we're going to work on the front of our card. What I want to do is I want to cut this in half. When I did this the first time, I had already peeled the die cut out of its, I don't know what you want to call it, but its little shell that it's in. And the little, you can see there's these fine little lines, and they got a little hard to lift up because, or they started to lift up as I was cutting and didn't get as straight of a line. So what I want to try tonight is I'm going to try cutting it with it still in there to see if that makes a difference. And really I'm just cutting it in half. So figured out about where the middle is. Make sure I'm doing this the way I wanted to do it. Yeah, it still lifted it a little bit, but, and it didn't cut through as well either. Tore some of that out. So you do have to be really careful. Maybe even, I might, I was using my scoring blade and not the cutting blade. That would make a difference. So this kind of tore this one up. Be careful. If you do it carefully and you use the right blade, it won't munch it all up like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and peel it out of its shell. And I'm going to show you when there's something like this that's got all these little fine details, it's so hard to put adhesive on it. So I'm going to show you a nice, easy way to do that. This is my liquid glue. We also sell this. And this is my silicone mat. This is amazing because adhesive doesn't stick to it. So you can do what I'm about to do, then you just let the glue dry and you can literally just rub it right off to clean it off. You can also run it under the sink to do it. What I've done is, you saw I put some glue on the mat, and then I just took one of my sponge daubers. You get like 5 of these for $5. They're really inexpensive. And I'm just dotting the glue on here. Your original tendency is going to be, oh, I need more glue than that, and I can't see it, and you're going to think you need a lot more glue than you really do. But I'm here to tell you that a little goes a very, very long way. Another reason why you would want to have baby wipes handy is if you do get some glue on your fingers, you want to get that off right away so you're not getting it on your card. Now I'm just going to go ahead and lay this down on my card. And it's okay, some of those edges are coming off the bottom of the paper. Not a big deal. See where I've got some kind of boogery edges there? I'm just going to take my scissors and trim them right off. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my Melon Mambo background. Sometimes this adhesive picks up the paper. All you got to do is turn your paper around and go over it the other direction. There. That happens typically if I'm pressing way too hard. You don't have to press very hard with the seal. Okay. There, now I've got that on there. Oops. There. Isn't that pretty, you guys? I love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this on our card. Just kind of center it there so that all your margins are roughly the same. Now we're going to take our little tag that says Hope, and we're going to put some dimensionals on it. I kind of go crazy with the dimensionals. Some people use them very sparingly. I do not. It's totally up to you. What you're comfortable with. I just don't like it to sag at all, so I try to make sure that I've got plenty in there that keep my item lifted off the card. We also, by the way, sell black dimensionals, which are great when you've got black things you're gluing down because then they don't show. And they stick pretty well. These are pretty unforgiving once you really push them down. So I recommend find where you want them. Lay it kind of lightly first. Make sure this is where you want that and it's not. So I'm going to lift it up. There we go. And then you can go ahead and press it down harder. But give yourself a little bit of grace to be able to move that around. Now we're going to put another little butterfly on there. You know, I'm not a huge fan of butterflies. We had a butterfly set come out not that long ago, and everybody and their dog was making cards with these butterflies, and they were beautiful, but it kind of tired me out of the butterflies. And so I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to think of this because I knew it had butterflies in it, but I love this set. Okay, you know what, I'm going to put another one on there because I just don't like how wiggly he is. What you can do is just kind of roll it up a little bit so that it's smaller. And I'm going to put it in this really narrow little spot. Okay. Oh, good. Chrisanne says she uses a bunch of dimensionals too. I figure a bunch come in the pack. That must mean that God wants me to use a lot of them. Let's put a few pretty sparklies on here. And then this one's done, you guys. Another quick and easy. Okay. Okay, you come back here, you. This guy doesn't want to cooperate. There's always one in every group, right? And then let's see. Let's put this one right over there. There we go. So that one is done. And as promised, I told you that we'd make 4 cards as a little something extra because of having to wait for these videos since they were supposed to start last Friday. So let me clean up my mess a little bit. We're going to make this last one, and this last one is going to be really sparkly. Oh, I do like roses too, Chrisanne. I really do like those. Okay, so this time around, we're going to make this card. This is where I took the front of one of our other card bases and I trimmed it down, and I'm going to trim it down for you so you can see what I did. So first I've got my card base, 5.5 by 8.5, half a sheet of paper, fold it in half. Use my bone folder to get a nice crisp edge. Then I have, this is a rich razzleberry. I love the razzleberry. That's just, I get this picture of, you know, Liza Minnelli. Razzle. Okay, so now I'm going to take, this was the card base, and I'm going to trim it down. I want it to be 4.5. Is that right? Yeah, 4.5 by 3 7/8. That's the size that I wanted it. So and I'm just kind of eyeballing where it's going to cut because I knew it was going to cut into that image a little bit. So it is taking a little bit of those edges off, but that's okay. And then I want it to be 4.5. Let's take about 1/2 inch off each edge. Okay. So now you can see I've just cut it away from there. And don't be afraid to dissect it and use these pieces other than what they were intended. It's kind of hard to get out of that mindset. You see that it was intended as a card base. And so your mind just stays there thinking of it as a card base. But like I said, think about dissecting it and make it into all sorts of stuff. Okay, so we're going to glue this baby down. You can see my little notes there where I told myself how much to cut it. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. I've just got it slightly smaller than the Rich Razzleberry, about 1/16 of an inch border there, just to give it that little pop of color. And it really pops once it's on the So Saffron card base. So again, we're going to take our baker's twine. I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. And you can see I'm not being very neat about it as I wrap it. That's okay, because I'll tighten it up and make sure that it's neater before I finish the card. So, okay. There we go. Put those little edges together. And there we go. There's our twine. And we're going to go ahead now and set this aside for a moment. Take our card base and the little baby butterfly, which I did not clean off when I used it last time. That could have been tragic. Okay, so now I'm going to take my So Saffron ink and I'm going to stamp a bunch of little butterflies down the edge of my card here. No particular pattern, sort of random. If I feel like there are some spots that need a little something extra, I can do that. Okay, and that one only stamped partially, but that's okay because it's going to be covered up anyway. I just wanted it there in case that edge stood out. Rule number 1, put away the ink pads. Now we're going to take this and we're going to mount it onto our card. You could pop this up with dimensionals too, but the next step, we're going to use dimensionals and pop it up too. And if you make your card too thick, the post office gets a bit wiggy about it, and sometimes they'll send it back and want more postage. So you want to be cautious about putting too much ink on my card. That's okay. I'm a survivor. I'll handle it. Got that glued on there. Now I'm going to bring in my little bow thing because I want another triple bow. I love this thing. It just makes perfect bows every time, and I on my own do not. Okay, so trim this down for the moment. We're going to put it on there with my glue dot so we can make it look like we tied that around and did our bow right there, when in fact we just wrapped it around and then glued on a separate bow. And you know, unless they start physically picking your card apart, they will never know the difference. So I'm going to just put it right here on the edge, trim this guy down. Then I'm going to take, what did I do with my little That could have been tragic if I'd misplaced those. They're tiny. I have one little die cut that says Hope, and then one that is just a plain white banner. And you can stamp on them. Some of the messages in this set do fit on there. You have to be cautious with it, but it does work. But we're not going to do that for this time. We're just going to glue this guy on. And I'm just going to center it on the banner. Oops, it's kind of crooked. Okay, there we go. We're going to put some of those little teeny little cute dimensionals, the tiny ones. If I can figure out where I put them. Where did I put my tiny little cute dimensionals? There they are. Okay. Oh, and you can get an assorted pack of the big dimensionals and the little ones, or you can buy them separately. If you buy the black ones, they come combined. They come with some big ones and some little ones. Okay. Now, just stick this on here. Now, I think that looks great, but you know, I need my bling. So I am using a couple different rhinestone embellishments we have. These are in color jewels or something, I think called. We have a section in our catalog that shows all of our different embellishments. Look for the ones that say in color. And these are just, they're so sparkly and really, really pretty. I like them a lot. So we're gonna put some of the yellow ones on our kind of orangey yellowy flowers here. I'm putting 2 small ones and a big one. Remember that rule I said of odd numbers. Okay, this guy wants to spend the night with me and not on the card. Okay. Okay, we'll do, let's see, another one down here. Let's see. Again, 2 small ones and one of the bigger ones. I say big, but there's even the big ones are still pretty little. Yep, it's all about that bling. And then I'm going to take the pink ones, a couple small ones, and put them in this kind of purpley flower. And we'll do the other one as well. I told you this one was going to be nice and blingy. By the way, if you are enjoying this video, I would love it if you would put up some likes and share the video. Getting the video out there is what helps me to grow my business, and I would so appreciate you helping me in that way. Okay, let's see. Let's put a couple of these. Now I'm using our champagne rhinestones. I love these. They're such a subtle color, but they've just got a little bit to them. I really like them a lot. So I'm going to take one of the smaller ones, put it in this guy here, take one of the bigger ones, put in this one. Oh, we didn't do this inside of our card, you guys. So, okay, so there's the front of it. Let's do, what did I do for the inside? Okay, this one I put a little more into the inside. We're gonna take, again, this stamp that says always hope. Always hope, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. I'm making a mess. And I'm just going to stamp it right here toward the top in the center. Oh, I like that. That one turned out really well. And then I'm going to take that bigger butterfly. I'm going to put away my Blackberry Bliss. And my bigger butterfly will be stamped out of So Saffron. I sit here and I say the bigger butterfly. How would you like it if we talked about people that way? Like if you went out with your friend and they said, you know, the bigger one of the two. Guess that wouldn't be very nice, would it? Okay, so I'm just going off the edge here. Oh, apparently I didn't clean it off that well, but that's okay. It kind of matches that little orangey bit on my card, so that's all right, it works. It's a happy accident. And you know, when you make a mistake with your cards, there's so much you can do to fix it. You can cover it up with embellishments. You can just leave it as is because, you know, anybody that you give a handmade card to, they're just going to appreciate that you did that for them. So it's not going to be the crisis that it's going to feel like to you. You know how it is. You're your own worst critic. But there's a lot you can do to make up for little mistakes on your cards. Oh, see, I got some there too, but we're going to go with it. And that one is done. What do you think, you guys? Chrisanne, she says, stampers don't make messes. We just have everything on display. Isn't that right? So let me clear this up a little bit, and I'm going to just kind of show you guys again everything that we made tonight, but that's all for the cards. Let's see, just remember my website is heathersides.stampinup.net. You can also catch me on my Facebook page. I post new ideas there all the time, and that is just Facebook /Stamp Happenings, and that's where you'll see a bunch of that. I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest under Stamp Happenings as well. So let's bring in these cards that we made. Okay, so first of all, you've got the big box here that Stampin' Up! Provided to make, and the cards that Stampin' Up! Provided with their design. And then tonight, we made this one, this one, this one, and this one. Which one do you guys like the best? I love them all, so I can't pick. Now, the point of this video was to remind you guys that there's so much that you can do with your paper pumpkin kit. You can stick to the ones that Stampin' Up! Provided and make several copies of each one. They'll be beautiful. You can box them up and give them as gifts or mail them out separately to people, but make sure you do give them to somebody. That's what they're for. I think a lot of stampers, we tend to make our cards and then we hoard them. So make sure that you keep them in a place that it's convenient to just grab one and pop it in the mail to somebody. I found that keeping mine in a box it's an open top box out on my counter, really helps. It makes sure that I am getting them out to people. They're easy to get to, so they're easy for me to mail. So if you are interested in subscribing to Paper Pumpkin, you can do that on my website, and you can just put in the search bar Paper Pumpkin, and you can subscribe with a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription, or you can do it 1 month at a time, whichever works best for you. And everybody who subscribes to me, while your subscription is running, you will receive a PDF of all the extra cards that I made that you have not seen tonight. That's going to be exclusive to my members. So that's a little incentive for you to sign up. But this video, as I said before, is going to be free to everybody. I'm going to do this once a month where I show the alternative ideas. I'm going to be coming to you again next week, next Wednesday night. And next week, I'm going to have some cards made for you with some of those great stamps and papers that I showed you from our Celebration set. Oh, look at the love coming up. I love it. So if you don't have one of these celebration brochures and you want one, let me know. I'd be happy to mail it to you. Likewise, if you don't have our annual catalog or our new mini catalog that has all sorts of beautiful holiday stuff in it and you want copies, all you got to do is let me know and I'm happy to pop those in the mail to you. So if you have any questions, I will try to refer back to this video once it posts so that I can answer any questions that you've had, or you can contact me directly here on Facebook or at stamphappenings@gmail.com. It was fun stamping with you guys, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.